Alright, fans, welcome back to another stream. I apologize to any of you who were at the previous Gaithersburg stream, where it was the full show. Unfortunately, you remember I kept saying my PC was having a problem and it kept going back to that other slide of the stream. Well, it finally decided to crash. Fortunately, it crashed right at the start of Freestyle. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to move into a brand new Freestyle competition. We're going to make up for that. We're going to have all 10 competitors go. We're going to have Makayla rerun her Freestyle. But fans, I should say, while we were away, some rain did come and wash over the track. So the competition has just been mixed up quite a lot. As you know, the track was very, very dry in the first half of the event before this my computer crashed, but after that, in that little period that the show was on pause, some big rain came in, and we have a big mud show on our hands, fans. So this just got a whole lot more interesting as these 10 competitors now look to adjust to these brand new track conditions. Fans, it's time to get started with Freestyle. Please welcome to the track, Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done. Now fans, if you don't understand what the Fall Brawl Series is or how that works, I would really encourage you to go watch the first half of this Gaithersburg event. It is on the channel. It just happened live, so if you want to see racing and skills and get a better understanding of what this tour is all about, I would go watch that. But fans, we're going to get right underway here in Freestyle. Just get started right away with Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. She did just get to do a little bit of a freestyle before our brief pause here. So maybe a bit of an advantage for her, but the track conditions are completely mixed up. And fans, we're going to pause that clock there at 93 seconds. It looks like she is caught up on one of those barriers. So just like we did for Brandan, Tulachka, and Skills, we're going to have our track crew pull her off of that obstacle so that we can allow her to finish her run. Because, you know, there's some tours who think very lightly tapping a barrier should be the end of the world. But we don't do that here. That is just ludicrous. So we're going to take her away from the barrier and let her refire like any real monster truck tour should. And fans, it looks like we are ready to go here. So please welcome Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. She has about a minute and a half still left to go here. Shouldn't say about a minute and a half. She actually has a little over a minute and a half. So fortunately, she can refire because I think she definitely is going to need to fill some more time. You can tell these wet conditions are definitely a bit of a struggle for her, but she's not letting them slow her down too much here. She's had good flow. Big wheelie right there. Love to see that for Makayla Tulachka and the Just Get Her Done machine. You do have to be careful, though. We've seen a lot of drivers getting into trouble with those barriers, just getting caught up on them. And now with these slick conditions, it's going to be all the easier to drift out of control like that. So Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done, and very nice wheelie right there as she is trying to get some action going here, trying to get something brewing for this run. And she might be setting up here for a technical maneuver. Looks like she is not going to find the grip that she needs. And I mean, oh, maybe she will actually. Gonna get a nice little bit of a stoppie. But again, like when you're running on these super muddy conditions like this, it's really not going to be easy to make your way around super smoothly. So evidently seeing some of that struggle here for Makayla Tulachka. Still has 13 seconds left to go. Try and get a big moment on the board. Big air right there. A bit of a wheelie as well. 4 seconds. Time for one more hit. One more move. Whatever she can do. And Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done. Gonna throw it into some big donuts out there as she tries to put an end to a very difficult freestyle run. I'm gonna give props to her. She filled the clock on what was definitely not an easy course to manage. Alright, fans, so a good way to kick things off there. Welcome to the stream, Track Motorsports. Glad to have you here. Fans, fan scoring is open, so do get your scores locked in for Just Get Her Done 2. For those of you who are new here, our scoring system will be the fan scores added onto the expert scores, divided in half, and that will be the official score. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see some new fans coming in. I love to have you guys here. This is the Fall Brawl Series, so this is going to funnel into the 2026 Monster Jam season. So this is an independent tour with all independent drivers, but it funnels into next year's Monster Jam tour. So this lineup is pretty big. It's actually the full lineup is listed in the description if you want to know who's coming up next here as we go on. The order of competitors will be based on their overall standings, which happened in the first part of the event. So, Makayla, Tulachka, kicking things off, and I'm super glad to have you guys here. We do these streams just about every week while we're in season. It's going to slow down after the next couple weeks, but we have some big events coming up. We're going to be having a Halloween Superstar Challenge, a Fall Brawl Season End in Lamar, a Thanksgiving All-Star Challenge, and then finally a Christmas Crush event, which is the final placement event for the 2026 season. Anyway, that was a little recap there. So here we go. That expert score is going to come in at a 6.5 for Makayla Tulachka. Fan score comes in at an 8.885. The official score, a 7.693 for Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. So there evidently is a very big difference between the fan and expert score. But, you know, sometimes that is the difference of someone who's had more time to analyze the series and driver capabilities versus someone who maybe hasn't seen these drivers as much throughout the Fall Brawl season. And coming up next, we have Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar. So Jon Zimmer Sr., a veteran. If anyone can get track conditions to work, it is a veteran like Jon Zimmer himself. He's going to try to actually start off with a wheelie, so that's always a bold move here. In these muddier conditions, that is a good wheelie, though. So Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar, he's coming out here. He's trying to get a good start going here. Big air right there as well. A bit of a rough landing, but he's going to recover very, very nicely. Big air across that racing lane. So Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar, he still kind of does have a bit of an opportunity to set the bar. Obviously, he's not coming out first, but when you're in those first, I would say those first 3 spots, you're still really setting the bar because you're in that first half of the field, but also not exactly halfway in, so I don't know. But we're seeing so many good wheelies in this run, even a nice little bit of a save for the Uproar, so Jon Zimmer Sr. showing that anything is possible in these muddier track conditions. And, you know, you always love to see that. Getting a little bit out of bounds here. Avoiding those barriers, fortunately. Full send across that other racing lane. So Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar. Oh, he might be eyeing the backflip. Huge air on the backflip. Oh, and he's going to go over. Trying to save it, but there is just not the grip for that in these track conditions. So Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar, he's going to go onto the lid with 28 seconds left on the clock. So good way to end out that run. Where's the hood? Well, in the first half of this event, he had a pretty wild crash in two-wheel skills where he did a wheelie up the bus stack, fell off the side onto the nose, and could not quite save it. It completely destroyed the body. Now, you might not have known that. This was a full event, but the stream for the first half of the event crashed basically right after skills ended, which it was at least a convenient time to crash because that meant Freestyle could still be its whole own thing for its own stream. So that was nice at least. So fan scoring is still open there for Jon Zimmer Sr. if anyone wants to get a score locked in. Otherwise, it will go straight to the experts. And those scores are locked, so fans score to beat 7.639 for Makayla Tulachka and the Just Get Her Done. The score for Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar is... it's an 8.301. Put him at the top. We have a new leader here in Freestyle. Fans, this has only been 2 freestyles so far, and we already have some pretty crazy things going down as these drivers try and work their way through these new muddy conditions. And to think, not even an hour ago, this was a perfectly dry track. It's crazy how just a little bit of weather can completely change things up for you. As Jon Gordon and Bad Company is hitting the track, and he's going to get started with some big air. Great way to kick off the run. Jon Gordon has been having his worst event of the season. Coming out of that first show, he was the season points leader, but in this show, he's had 6 points out of a possible 20. So, Jon Gordon and Bad Company just not been able to get it done tonight, but a good freestyle run could give him a little bit of redemption here. And he is off to a strong start, I will say that. Big air into a wheelie, that is what I'm talking about. Jon Gordon and Bad Company trying to figure out something here for freestyle. We might see a gauge bursty by Jon Gordon and the Bad Company. Very nicely done. Gonna stop it before he hits that racing lane. That probably would have sent him over there. He's starting to take this a little bit wide there. You're definitely seeing those track conditions coming into play. He's actually pulling off some very nice wheelies though. And in these muddy conditions, that's always an accomplishment. He might be setting up for the backflip a little bit early on. Oh no. Oh my goodness. I have never seen something like that. He goes for the backflip, and what I would say was a pretty typical setup. You fans could probably barely even see this truck because he's not even on the track anymore. The backflip sends him on a huge sky wheelie. He tried to salvage what rotation he did have, but unfortunately, the truck is just going to go straight onto the lid, into the trees. So, very rare that we see something like that happen. And, you know, that's always one of those risks going for an early backflip because he did leave 47 seconds of that run unfilled. So, a tough break for the Bad Company. Jon Gordon trying to get it done. As a fan scoring window there is beginning to come to a close. So that score to beat is going to belong to Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar. He has an 8.301. Let me just write a quick thing here so that everyone remembers. For the new fans coming in, anyone new to these streams might not know exactly how they come, so I like to make sure it is fun for everybody. Gonna pin a quick message here. Alright. That score to be 8.301 for Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar. The score for Jon Gordon, Bad Company is... it is an 8.106. That is going to be enough for second place. Well, fans, let's take it to another team. So far, we have seen 4 different teams here in Freestyle. Now we're going to make it 5. Sorry, we've seen 3. Now we're going to make it 4. That's what I meant to say. As we're going to move it over to Team Scream with Kevin Crocker and Brutus. Or what's left of Brutus, I should say. Kevin Crocker had a crazy crash earlier tonight as he did a sky wheelie and went straight onto the lid. He's coming out here for freestyle now, and he's off to a nice start. A nice wheelie, but he might be going over early. Oh no! Trying to get a save out of it, but it is already over. Kevin Crocker and Brutus. Man, I think, you know, Kevin's one of those guys who will come out here and put on a crazy wow factor, but sometimes it's not the most consistent run, and that time it was a wow factor and done. It was just a one and done hit. So it was a great moment to get the fans on their feet, not a great moment to get himself on the leaderboard. So No score for Kevin Crocker and Brutus. He currently sits in 4th place. Well, fans, let's get into the action here. I apologize. I know the action has been a little bit less exciting than your typical Fall Brawl show, but sometimes that is what the weather will do. As Koehler and Avenger is coming up next. This will put us at the halfway mark here in Freestyle. And what better way to do that than with Mr. Excitement himself, Koehler and Avenger. So Koehler, he's getting set up and ready to go here. Jim's had an interesting event so far. Oh my goodness! He's just gonna absolutely plow it into that car. Oh, don't go over. You have got to be kidding me. This is unprecedented. We have never had a show on the channel go like this. 2 freestyles. Hear that? 2 runs in a row. The driver goes over on the first hit of the run. That is unbelievable. So that is going to be another score of a dead 0 tonight. This one going to Koehler and Avenger. Wow. So that is something else. Yeah, that is, we've never had a show go quite like this before. I guess we're just gonna head into your next competitor. Team Scream having a very bad freestyle competition so far. So let's keep the ball rolling here because that was looking pretty rough. And we're gonna move things into the next competitor. Please welcome Brandan Tulachka, just get her done too. Now I see some fans in chat rooting on Koehler and Mayhem. He will be coming out here last. He won skills, which means he will be closing freestyle. So some pressure for Koehler, but also some added excitement as well. As Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done too is looking to get it done next. Huge air kicking off this freestyle. Very nice way to start things off. He's going to go for a risky send over that bus stack. I'm going to be honest. If I saw 2 drivers in a row go over hit 1 from that ramp, I probably wouldn't be hitting it on the second move in my run. But Brandan Tulachka evidently ready to do what it takes to get it done here. Trying to do some technical moves. They're a bit harder to do in these track conditions, obviously, though. Crazy combination. Look at that. Brandan Tulachka, Just Get Her Done too. Absolutely unbelievable way to kick things off. And, you know, I mean, the bar was set fairly high for Jon Zimmer Sr. in Uproar. He did get an 8.301, which is not a particularly high score. I'm ranting over here as Brandan Tulachka puts down the craziest cyclones of the season. Oh my goodness, he might be going over. Can he save it? Oh no! Brandan Tulachka, what an effort. Wow moments of the night. Almost pulling out the save, but unfortunately that truck could not get back on all fours as that run comes to an end. So let's hear it one more time for Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. Get those scores locked in. Do keep in mind, fans, although that was a very cool move, he did leave 51 seconds unfilled. So please do keep that in mind. We saw some great moments, but we saw a lot of time left unfilled. That scoring window now comes to a close. So that score to beat belongs to Jon Zimmer Sr. with an 8.301. The score for Brandan Tulachka, Just Get Her Done 2, is... it's an 8.093. That is going to be enough for 3rd place currently in the freestyle competition. Fans, this has been a very rough freestyle so far. I do apologize. I think it is definitely coming down to these track conditions. This is the only mud show we have seen in all of the Fall Brawl series, and evidently these drivers are not quite sure how to handle it, so I do apologize. It's pretty rare that we see events go this rough, but regardless, we're going to keep things going here as Tim Jones and Tailgator gets his run started with some big air. So Tim Jones has a big opportunity here because, yeah, we've seen some decent scores, but we have yet to see a big score. And if Tim Jones and Tailgator can come out here and get, you know, a big score on the board, he could find himself unbeatable. Maybe even just landing a backflip could be that big moment for him. And I'll tell you what, these wheelies so far have been looking absolutely killer. The air as well. And he's had some sick nose picks as he's transferred into the middle of that course. So Tim Jones and Tailgator, he is just going at it right now. And I definitely respect that, you know. These track conditions can be scary. Because, I mean, we've already seen so many runs and pretty rough because of them, but Tim Jones and the Tailgator is not letting himself be scared by those. He is choosing to run this freestyle run like this is any other course, and I gotta respect that. He knows what it takes to get it done out here, and he is gonna do what it takes, and Tim Jones and Tailgator, huge transfer, trying to save this, but that is on the lid. What a way to end out the freestyle run. Tim Jones leaving 31 seconds on the clock. Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, that was an insane way to end out the freestyle run. Unfortunately, it's not going to end successfully. I wish he could have just saved that move for 30 seconds later, but he couldn't quite hold himself back from that full send. Regardless, easily the biggest air of the night. That's going to be on the radar probably for the rest of the show. All these drivers are going to have, you know, probably a little bit of a monkey on their back to try and top that air, but I don't know if it's even safe in these track conditions to try. That score to beat is an 8.301 for Jon Zimmer Sr. in Uproar. The score for Tailgator is... it's going to be an 8.419, which means Tim Jones and Tailgator is your new leader tonight in the freestyle competition. Fans, we're going to get right back into the action. Coming up next, please welcome Jon Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. With Jon Zimmer Jr., we officially move into the second half of the event. So Jon Zimmer Jr. here, not the second half of the event. I have no clue what I just said. We're moving into the last 3 runs of the event is what I meant to say. We'll see Jon Zimmer Jr., followed by Joe Foley, followed by Koehler. So some serious pressure on all these competitors. Jon Zimmer Jr. going big to kick it off tonight. And, you know, it's bold, but I gotta respect him for it. Bold and respectable, because we have seen so many competitors go over early by going big, but Jon Zimmer Jr. not letting that be a fear of his. He's just going to come out here and do what it takes. Huge air to kick things off. Great donuts as we're still here kicking things off as well, and a great send into a wheelie into a combination. So Jon Zimmer Jr. and Terminal Velocity, he is taking a different approach. I think his real strategy here is just don't slow down. He is keeping that truck on the gas, whether in forwards or reverse, at pretty much all times. What was that? Jon Zimmer Jr. with a wheelie pirouette. Unbelievable action for the Terminal Velocity machine. And a slap wheelie as well onto one tire. So you take Jon Zimmer Jr., put him out here on the course. 50 seconds remain. Big wheelie. Up that van stack. Another little bit of a save. So Jon Zimmer Jr. and terminal velocity, making it very evident tonight that he is driving here to win. Huge slap wheelie, walking it across the course. This is unbelievable. 20 seconds still left on the clock. Fans, he might be eyeing the backflip. And Jon Zimmer Jr., he's going to need a moonwalk. So right as I was about to say the first successful backflip of the night, well, he's going to combo it as well. This is unbelievable to see a run this insane in the muddy conditions. Huge wheelie as well. Can he pull out a save right here? No! Oh, maybe. He's pushing for it. He's trying to get this back. He gets it, fans. Jon Zimmer Jr. Terminal velocity save of the year as the clock ticks down to 0. You have got to be kidding me. He had that sidewall, and it looks like that truck was just completely over so many times until he got it onto the other side. And he said, I'm not letting these muddy conditions stop me. He just stayed on the gas, stayed on the pedal, stayed on the throttle until that truck was on all 4 BKT tires. And I absolutely respect that for Jon Zimmer Jr. and terminal velocity. Fans, the score to beat is Tim Jones and Tailgator with an 8.419. The score for terminal velocity is a 9.715. Put him at the top to nobody's surprise. Your new leader is Jon Zimmer Jr. and terminal velocity. Fans, what a crazy freestyle, and I gotta say, after all the rough luck we've seen tonight, that was such a breath of fresh air to get such a crazy run out of Jon Zimmer Jr. Only 2 competitors are left now to try and top that, and man, they have their work cut out for them. Coming up next, it's Joe Foley and Axe. Oh, hold on, fans, these conditions might be getting to Joe. That truck's gonna shut itself off. Fortunately, he can refire, but this is not a bit, fans. Unironically, that truck shuts off, so a tough break there for the Axe. He is able to continue on going here, but that's a truck issue we're gonna have to keep our eyes on. Joe Foley and Axe getting ready to go. Big air across the racing lane as his run comes to a start. Looks like that rear steer might have even locked up for a second. So, yep, there we're seeing it. Joe Foley's rear steer is out. Again, fans, this is not something I'm making up for the show or anything like that. There is absolutely no control over Joe Foley's rear steer right now. So, this is official word that we are receiving. Joe Foley now has some serious difficulty, but this might help him out. He pulls off an amazing save of his own. So Jon Zimmer Jr. thought he was unstoppable with his save. Joe Foley just pulled off 2. Right when I thought this show couldn't get any crazier, Freestyle Foley himself just pulled off 2 of the craziest saves I have ever seen in these muddy conditions, and 2 of the best moves of this entire Fall Brawl series. I mean, this is unbelievable. Oh, no way. Joe Foley is eyeing that backflip, and despite the rear steer issues, Joe Foley nails it. You've got to be kidding me right now. This is unheard of. Joe Foley in the Axe, oh my goodness, onto the front 2 tires. You have got to be kidding me. I thought Jon Zimmer Jr. had this one, but I'm pretty sure it's over for him, because Joe Foley and Axe is putting down what very well might be the best freestyle a mud show has ever seen. I mean, this is unheard of. He is just going absolutely insane right now behind the wheel of the Axe. This freestyle feels like it's been such a long time. It's not even over yet. Can he pull out another one? Oh, so close. Joe Foley and Axe rolling it over as time expires. He fills those full 2 minutes, and not a second of that freestyle did not have me on my feet. I mean, that was the craziest run I have ever seen. That's not even talking about a mud show. Even if this was completely dry conditions, that would be one of the best runs ever. Joe, Foley, and Axe showing up, showing out, and absolutely delivering tonight. I don't even know what to say to that, fans. Unreal. Score to beat is Jon Zimmer Sr. and Terminal Velocity with a 9.715. The score for Joe, Foley, and Axe is an 9.814. I almost said an 8.8 because I couldn't believe how high this score was. No, it is a 9.814 for Joe, Foley, and the Axe. Easily the highest score we have ever seen in this Fall Brawl Series. Unreal. Fans, only one competitor remains here to try and take it away. So let's hear it. Your final remaining competitor, your skills winner, Koehler and Mayhem. Koehler coming out here to the track. And man, if anyone's ever had their work cut out for them, it's Koehler. He has to follow up Save of the Year by Jon Zimmer Jr. and Freestyle of the Year by Joe Foley. I mean, how can you even do that? It is just an unbelievable way that this freestyle competition has been coming to an end. And there is still one more run remaining. Please, fans, welcome Koehler and Mayhem. Koehler and his 2 minutes begin now. Oh, he's going crazy right off the bat. And I mean, he doesn't have a choice. Those last runs were so impressive that unless Koehler were to do like a triple backflip right now, I don't think he could ever take the lead away. Oh, but a crazy combination like that will help him out in these track conditions. Koehler pulls off a wheelie to nose wheelie in the muddiest show of the year. That is something you don't get to see very often. And a nose wheelie. So Koehler said, okay, you want to see something you haven't seen yet? How about some technical moves? No one else has been able to do these. We've seen several drivers attempt it. Koehler's the only one to be successful, though. So now Koehler and Mayhem. He's got a minute left on the clock. What else can he do? An insane save for the Mayhem machine. Koehler, this might be the end of the run, though. Fans, let's hear it for Koehler and Mayhem. Chris trying to keep that run alive, but unfortunately, that is a broken 4-link bar, which means Koehler is done, and that is going to be huge for points. Now, Chris, he does leave 50 seconds on the clock. I will say, he had an insane save. He just unfortunately could not keep that run alive. So score to beat, 9.814 for Joe Foley and Axe. The score for Mayhem is... it's going to be an 8.3... sorry, an 8.347. 8.347. That's going to put Koehler in 4th place tonight in freestyle. Well, fans, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a look at all these scores. We're going to see who your overall event winner was and who is currently sitting on the throne of that series lead. We'll be back after this short break. Alright, fans, thank you all for waiting. Those points have officially all been tallied up, and the overall point standings are looking very interesting. Now, fans, I am super excited to announce that for the first time this year, Joe Foley and Axe picks up the overall win with a total of 27 points. However, in second place, we have a tie between Koehler and Jon Zimmer Sr., who both got 26 points. Tim Jones and Tailgator grabbed 23. Brandan, Tulachka, and Just Get Her Done only able to grab 15 tonight. Jon Zimmer Sr. grabbed 12. John Gordon grabbed 11. Kevin Crocker grabbed 10. Jim Koehler grabbed 9. And Makayla grabbed 6. So some very interesting things here. Koehler got way more points than John Gordon and Brandan Tulachka, who were the only people even close to grabbing that top spot. So I think Koehler may have certified himself already the series winner. I'm going to take a look at that when I'm writing the week recap to see if it's even possible for someone else to take the lead at this point. But I know Koehler is very, very close to having officially won at this point. Aside from that, it's just very interesting to see Brandan Tulachka and John Gordon, who were previously sitting pretty high up in points, do pretty bad in this event. I have a feeling they'll probably be falling a little bit, but we'll see how things go for them. It's definitely a rough place to be sitting there, but regardless, hopefully they can grab some points back. But Jon Zimmer Jr. and Joe Foley got a ton of points. I'm sure they're both going to be shooting up to the podium, but again, it might already be too late for them to overtake Koehler, because he has just been so unbelievably consistent. No one else has even come close. So Koehler and Mayhem, not going to be able to get the overall, but he was only 1 point away as Joe Foley picks up his first overall of the series, and Koehler remains in the lead. Fans, it was a great freestyle event, and for those of you who were there for the first half of the show, thank you all for being there as well. But officially, we're not done yet, because as you know, it's not a true show here on the channel without some sort of an encore. We have been doing exhibition freestyle runs for the whole Fall Brawl series, and coming up, Maryland's own, let's hear it for Flying Ryan Disharoon, Shaker. Ryan Disharoon, his career has been going through some interesting things lately, but I'm sure he still knows how to burn it down, and he's going to go crazy on that first hit. Fans, keep in mind, this is not a scored run. This is just for fun out here, as Ryan Disharoon looks to show up and show out for that hometown crowd. Huge wheelie. Ryan Disharoon showing some true driving talent, showing that it does not matter what the track looks like, he still knows how to get it done. Ryan Disharoon and Shaker keep it on all fours. Unreal. Oh, he might be doing something huge here. Ryan Disharoon and Shaker, he's going to land the transfer that Tim Jones attempted earlier. He's going to go for the backflip as well, and he's going to land that as well. So Ryan Disharoon and Shaker has just turned it up for his hometown crowd. I mean, okay, maybe it's a stretch to say he landed the backflip, but he landed the save he pulled off after the backflip. I mean, this is unbelievable for Ryan Disharoon. You can tell he wishes he was in the runnings for that 2026 Monster Jam season. Unfortunately, he is not, but I mean, he's driving like he is, because this is absolutely unbelievable, especially for an exhibition run. I mean, this is just so insane, trying to save that, but he is against the wall. That is going to bring it to an end for Flying Ryan Disharoon and the Shaker. Well, fans, that is where this event does officially come to an end. I know this wasn't how shows usually go. For one, because of the track conditions. For two, because of all the reasons, or for all the times the trucks rolled over, like, immediately. And for three, just because this ended up being divided up into racing and skills, and then afterwards freestyle. None of those are things that we're super used to seeing here. But I gotta be honest, regardless of those big mistakes and struggles, these drivers might have just put down the best mud show of all time. That was unreal. I have never seen anything like that. Thank you all for coming out here. Joe Foley killed it in freestyle. He grabbed the overall. Chris Koehler remains in the season lead. And Jon Zimmer Jr. absolutely burning it down as well, fans. We're going to come out with those full series standings and what they mean as we roll into week number 4 and event number 5. But until then, I'll see you all next time. Thank you all who came out here, who scored, or who just watched and enjoyed. All those help out the channel a ton. So I'll see you all next time with some more Monster Truck action.